First of all, it really is on the big story that I know we've all seen. Yesterday, Lorene and I saw on the internet the picture of this young boy, Aylan, dead on the beach. Look, I think our reaction to that, the first thing that crossed our mind was, remembering our own son, Ben, at that age, running around like that. And I think, I think that is it brings tears to your eye. I think that is the reaction of every parent. Anyone who's ever had a 2-year-old or been near a 2-year-old, been a parent in Canada or anywhere around the world. It truly is a heartbreaking situation. It's a terrible tragedy, and I know all of our hearts go up to those who are touched personally by this tragedy. What I want to say, though, is this, friends. I don't need to tell you what we saw yesterday was a tragedy. What I need to tell you is that it is far, far worse than that. Far worse. As Prime Minister, I have been to refugee camps in Jordan and in Iraq. And I can tell you that I have seen tens of thousands of people in these desperate circumstances. And there are millions more in exactly the same situation. There are, in fact, tens of millions of people, not in the refugee camps, but tens of millions of people whose lives have been affected by what is going on in that part of the world in a way that is catastrophic, that has put their very survival on a day-to-day basis in jeopardy. That is the reality of the situation that we are dealing with. And it is getting worse, and getting worse in many parts of the world. We see what's happening in Iraq and Syria, but this kind of violence, the kind of violent jihadist movement we've seen there is happening in more and more places. Our country has the most generous immigration and refugee system in the world. We admit per capita more people than any other. During the lifetime of this government, we've had 2.5 million new arrivals in Canada. Many of those people, a large part of them, from where, sir? Well, it's great to have you here. There we are. A large part of the people who come are people who are coming for reasons of family reunification, for humanitarian and compassionate grounds, and, of course, refugee situations as well. And earlier in this campaign, I announced that this government, we have already accepted tens of thousands of refugees from this part of the world, from the Middle East, and I announced earlier in the campaign that we will accept more. But friends, refugee policy alone is not remotely a solution to this problem. It is of a scale far, far beyond that. That's why we have been one of the largest donors of humanitarian aid of any country relative to our size in this part of the world. And I know that has been appreciated by many of the people I did visit when I was there. And yes, we are also doing what we have to do to try and fight the root cause of this problem. And that is the violent campaign being led against people, against millions of people, by ISIS. That is why we are part of the international military coalition. A few days ago, I met with the Patriarch of the Syriac Orthodox Church. It's an example of just one of a number of communities I have met, leaders of those communities who are represented in that part of the region and have some of their community here in Canada. He was visiting us from Damascus, Syria. That is where he actually still lives, still resides. And look, what they all tell you is this, friends. They all tell you we're honored, we're delighted, we're relieved when we see some of our people coming to this country. And we appreciate you doing that. We also appreciate the humanitarian aid you deliver to us, obviously. We need it. Our people are desperate. But more than anything, what we need to have people to be in a situation where people are not attacking and trying to kill us. There's not a solution. We do not want to pick up our entire communities, hundreds of thousands or millions of people, and move them out of a region where they have lived for as long as history has been written. They do not want that. They want us to help them. That is why we provide refugee placements, friends. That is why we provide humanitarian aid to these millions of people. And that is why we are part of the international military coalition taking on the so-called Islamic State. We can do all of these things. We should do all of these things. And Canada will and is doing all of these things.